GPU miners, did you guys know that FLUX just gave you all the middle finger? Yes, guys, the exact same FLUX. Ever since they released here, guys, they have been pushing for GPU mining, saying how great GPU miners are. They'll never leave GPU miners behind. They are the backbone of crypto. Well, guess what? They all said, F you, don't care anymore. We're pulling a page out of Vitalik. Crypto mining is bad. We want bigger nodes. Let's start a rug pull or something. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Rabid Mining YouTube channel. Rabid here. Hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at what's going on and let me know your thoughts on the whole situation. All right, guys, so coming into the white paper, and I don't know what the big deal about a white paper is. You see people saying, check out the coin, check out the white paper. It's awesome. The white paper looks amazing. That's the best white paper ever. Who cares about a freaking white paper? Like, honestly, all it is a document that can change at any time. Take FLUX for a prime example. It's changing. It's not the same thing that it was. White papers change constantly. All right, so let's just start off with the contents here. And right off the start, we can see number 2, problem with the current GPU mining mechanism. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. What's the issue that they could be fixing here? And then I saw 2.1, their first problem. Just a page straight out of Vitalik's handbook. Maybe these guys are best friends now. Are they teaming up with Ethereum and moving the proof of stake? 2.1, environmental and economic inefficiency. What the hell are they talking about after promoting GPUs for so long? 2.2, centralization risks. Wow, moving the proof of stake, is going to fix this. It sounds, this is a page straight out of Ethereum. 2.3, lack of useful work output. Okay, whatever. 3, proposed shift to proof of useful work. So you're still going to need like CPUs, GPUs, stuff like that here. Kind of have a look there. Looks like elimination of mining pools. In 4.1, it says parallel assets transition. This is mostly, as far as I'm aware. We'll look at it, though. It just sounds like parallel assets are pretty much all mined out, so they will be disappearing. So any extras that you're getting, if you're a FLUX miner, from PAs and stuff, that will no longer be there. So ultimately, your rewards will drop because of it. And then we also, speaking of rewards, we're moving into the tokenomics and rewards overhaul. That seems like it's going to be dropping, and more of it's going to be going to the nodes, which usually when coins start pushing more towards the nodes, it means one of a couple things. Their price is not doing very well. They're trying to figure out a way to get better. So they want people to buy the coins, stake it in nodes, and give yourself more rewards because of it. Or they're just gearing up to rug pull the crap out of everybody. I'm not saying FLUX is going to do that, but usually node providers tend to do this type of thing. Moving forward, annual reduction model. So tokenomic stuff. We got economic impact and decentralization balance. Whatever that's all about. And, most of the other stuff don't really. Block distribution. Maybe we'll go through some of this. Economic effects, they talk about the same crap every other coin. Reduce sell pressure, improve token velocity, enterprise and institutional confidence, all the stuff that they want people to buy coins, and nobody really cares at this point. Look at Kaspa, prime example. Nobody cares about tech these days. All right, so let's look at some of the actual write-ups. And if you haven't yet, guys, hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think about any of this so far down in the comment section. And if you're just getting madder or you got something else to think of, comment again. Why not? So coming into here, don't care about the abstract. Maybe I should just glimpse. Nah, who cares? Number 2, let's just start with this. Problem with the current GPU mining mechanism. 2.1. Environmental and economic inefficiency. So energy consumption. GPU mining consumes excessive electricity, often derived from non-renewable resources, contributing to global carbon emissions. Wow. How dumb are they turning? Like, seriously, guys, this sounds like Vitalik wrote this for them. I have no idea. I know they're probably, the team over at FLUX is probably not happy with me. I've never really was a huge fan of FLUX because they always say want to do and give so many promises, but they never deliver on anything. That's all I've ever seen FLUX. So now they're starting to deliver on everything. They're pretty much lied to us for the past 4 years. So now we're coming forward here. Hardware waste. Hardware life cycles are shortened due to mining's. Oh my gosh, are they really using this line? Hardware life cycles are shortened due to mining stress. This was tested by tech people where they remember that when there was old back in 2021, it was this 580. I can't remember, CFT Tech or someone did that. They had an RX 580. And they had one that's mined for 2 or 3 years straight, and they had one that was gamed on. And mining, actually, based on that test, and there's some other ones out there, is better on your hardware. Gaming on the hardware actually dropped your frames per second over time because you're getting constant voltage spikes and everything happening there, which means you're getting hotter and colder, hotter and colder. And with mining, you're either, really hot all the time or, whatever, but it's usually generally underclocked, undervolted, and running consistent. And it's better that way than long-term gaming because of those voltage spikes and stuff. Anyway, they're saying mining is bad. So they're joining the Greenpeace party here in terms of everything. Now, generating significant electronic waste. So yeah, whatever. I don't even know why they have this here. They're making themselves look even dumber. No offense, this is constructive criticism, right? Not financial advice. All those things that go along with this. Market impact. Mining creates artificial here we go again. Mining creates artificial scarcity in GPU markets, harming gaming, AI research, and content creation industries. Did they miss that, people aren't buying GPUs anymore? Ethereum is gone. People don't care. There's GPUs for sale anywhere. Everywhere you look, GPUs are for sale. They're just expensive because NVIDIA is charging an arm and a leg for their latest hardware. But there is no shortage of hardware anywhere. Yes, there was in 2021. It wasn't for Flux. It wasn't for any other coin. It was for Ethereum because it was super profitable. That happened once. Now it's not happening, but for some reason they got to throw it in here and say that it's happening. It's nowhere near happening. This is not the case whatsoever. I don't even know if I want to read it anymore. I've probably seen enough, but let's keep going. All right, so now we have the industry's environmental impact driven by the rapid growth of AI and increase in demand for computing is unsustainable and inefficient as computation needs are challenged to quality predict and the current infrastructure is static while usage is dynamic. This leads to significant inefficiencies and increased energy consumptions. Now, wasn't their whole proof of useful work thing to do all this type of stuff? And now their whole platform, they're just shoving right down our face and they expect us to eat it and forget. These guys are running their platform like the news, the news articles, telling you one thing when 2 weeks ago they said something else, and they've been pushing one thing for the past 4 or 5 years, and now they're totally changing it and expecting people to accept this. Like, I don't accept this. Do you accept this? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm really frustrated, especially when it comes to proof of work. Yeah, it's been rough. All coins have been rough. But when core coins, like Flux is technically a core GPU mineable proof of work coin. And when coins like this are pretty much turning their backs on everything they've always said, I'm upset about it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. But you know what? They have their reasons. They can do whatever they want. But, I'm really losing a lot of faith in Flux now. All right, so now we're at 2.2, centralization risks. Let's kind of see this. So geographic concentration kind of makes sense here. Mining power is disproportionately concentrated in regions with access to cheap electricity. Well, yeah, it makes sense. You mine wherever the cheaper power is, obviously you can mine more and be profitable and stuff like that. Maybe make your coin better, price will go up, more miners will mine it as well. Who knows? We'll see. Pool consolidation. Mining pools consolidate power, undermining the principles of decentralization. Yes and no, that all depends, but at the same time, it's not necessarily up to the pools to do this. It's the miners mining the network. Some people do care about decentralization, and they swap around to other ones. Other miners, they don't care, and they just throw everything on one pool. Ultimately, it'll come down to, will that single pool decide to attack the network and stuff? Most of the pools available now won't, but in a new pool, there are some shady ones out there, obviously, on new coins and stuff, which you never know. Parallel asset issues. Parallel assets are currently handled at the pool level, leading to centralization and challenges with consensus and XDAO. This can be a tricky one. Yes, I thought all of this was worked out and working fine, but you never know. A pool, some pools, even with some of the merge coins we've seen on any of the other algorithms, yeah, the pools hide them or keep them for themselves, and then finally once they get caught, they start paying the people. That's a thing. But I thought, when it came to PAs, this wasn't an issue anywhere. So, maybe it is. I don't know. A lack of useful work output. Unlike Flux OS nodes, which provide real-world services, of course, you bring in Flux, they're doing real-world stuff. I don't think they're doing anything. They just tell us they are. It's just like I said, a whole lot of broken promises their entire life. Anyway, which provide real-world services, compute storage, orchestration, current GPU mining yields, no prospective external output. I don't know. Pretty much they're saying, don't mine. It's not worth it. Proof of work is trash this at this point. This is what Flux is pretty much telling us. All right, so now we're going into the proposed shift to proof of useful work, POUW, and this was a major thing they've been pushing for a long time. And computational framework. So we propose a shift from proof of work to proof of useful work. This is something we've all been expecting for a long time, but it looks like the way they used to promote it and the way it is now is a different. I used to think proof of useful work was we'd be throwing our GPUs on there, we'd be getting jobs, we'd be helping out other things, doing all sorts of stuff with our mining hardware. But here, in theory, we still are, but it looks like it's just happening at the Flux OS nodes. So the nodes are doing all this work now. So we're going to have to actually look at the node requirements to get an idea here. But here we can see node-centric model here. All block validation and production will be handheld by Flux OS nodes. Cumulus, Nimbus, and Stratus. Flux OS nodes must run full daemon, which makes sense. All nodes are going to be, a full daemon, a node, decentralization around the world type of thing here, and meet benchmark standards, which means you're going to have a certain speed of internet, certain hardware to meet this, which means depending on the hardware, you're still going to have to use GPUs. You're still going to have to use CPUs and stuff. Block rewards are primarily distributed to Flux OS nodes, reinforcing the node economy and driving infrastructure growth. And remember, so the block rewards are going to be going to the nodes now instead. You're still getting a little bit of earning it, but when we look at the things later on with the redistribution of block rewards and stuff, they're dropping it to miners, more going to the nodes, which, in theory, they're making a nice way here. They want people to buy more coins so that they can run nodes. And, this is essentially almost turning into a proof of stake type of thing. And they're going to try to push it as a decentralized proof of stake because they still want you to run your own hardware instead of everyone running to Amazon like people are doing with Ethereum. But in the end, who knows? Everyone might just run to Amazon. And this is just essentially going to be Ethereum 2.0, but it's now Flux proof of useful work. I could be wrong, and yell at me in the comments if I totally am, but this is just doesn't seem right to me. Okay, so here we go. Why proof of useful work and not POS? So this is probably going to explain what I just kind of mentioned earlier about why I don't really understand it. So let's see. POS limitations. While POS is energy efficient, it can lead to wealth-based centralization. Okay, yeah, well, we get that. A proof of useful work advantages ensures decentralization by requiring operational infrastructure rather than more token staking. So again, you're going to need your rewards, or you're going to need the hardware and stuff, which is the same hardware they're telling you causes too much e-waste and everything. I don't know what's happening here. Proof of useful work advantages. Okay, we saw that. Trust and neutrality. Maintains trust, neutrality, and useful outputs. That doesn't make sense. I don't even know why that's there. What does it really do? Don't know. That's not telling us why. Decentralization. POS is inherently centralized. Proof of useful work version 2.0 is not. So pretty much what they're telling us here is, trust me, bro, it's not centralized. Wow. Anyway, moving forward, domestic, what is that? Deterministic security. Proof of useful work is secured by proof of Flux OS nodes. Deterministic decentralized node system that validates both network consensus and useful work. What is the useful work? Like, we still don't even know what anybody is doing here. Elimination of mining pool. So here's that elimination of the mining pool thing here. So with the removal of traditional mining, all mining pool infrastructures, will be depreciated. Okay, so maybe they are getting rid of all pools. I just seen this part right here with the parallel assets, so I didn't see this. So simplifies network architecture. Okay, reduces points of failure or potential exploitation, eliminates need for intermediaries to distribute block rewards, includes all parallel asset mining, can now be directly claimed, enables more decentralized and streamlined distribution of parallel assets. And then 4.1, here we can see at block height 2 million, the majority of parallel assets, PAs, will have been mined. Remaining supply per PA chain, 2.4 million tokens, those remaining PAs will continue to be mined using standard methods, not through the pool. So what block height are we currently at now? Okay, so just before we go and check out the current block height here, I do want to point out is back here in centralization risk, they say the parallel assets are currently handled at the pool level, leading to centralization and challenges with consensus and XDAO. But now they're just telling us, in block height 2 million, all the PAs that are mineable anyway will be gone. So this shouldn't even be here either in the first place because they're going to be mined out anyway. So what's the point of even having it? So currently right now we're at about 1.94 million. So, at 2 million, that is when that change will take effect. So not too much longer to go on that. Timeline for PA completion. It looks like 2025 to 2028 remaining PAs will be mined out. Post 2028, pure Flux main chain economy. Long term, only FluxOS node rewards remain as the primary token emission source. So 5.1 block reward reallocation. So recent group Q-list nodes, location block 1, percentage 7.1, function, block validation, hosting, lightweight applications. And we got Nimbus node 3.5, Stratus 9, development fund 0.5%. Oh, so yeah, here's the other thing here. It looks like the dev fund, the devs are now good. They added a dev fee to every single block. So every block found, they are now getting that. So, bigger bags for the devs for doing nothing, less work. You're just going to add a dev fee in, and now they're going to start developing. And then in about a year or two, they'll be able to rug the crap out of their own chain here because it hasn't been doing so. I'm just saying. I'm not going to say they're going to rug. They've been honest to us since day one. They're for GPU miners. They're not going to rug, right? Right. Anyway, continuing on. Let me know in the comment section. Oh my gosh. I don't even know why they thought this was a good idea. Did they vote on this? Who voted on this? If you voted on this, give your head a shake. Oh, wait, we know how this works. Whoever has the largest bags voted the most and they won. So, it's all about the nodes. Total block reward, 14 flux per block. These figures completely replace mining MPA reward allocations. One node from each tier is rewarded per block. Cumulus 1, Nimbus. Okay, so every block being found. Yeah, everything is pretty much going to the nodes at this point. There will be no more mining. Everything to the nodes. All going to the nodes. And depending on the node you have, which obviously bigger nodes require more flux, which means if you want to update to get 9 flux per block being found remember, we never got to that point yet. They're going to be adding faster block times, 30 seconds or something like that. So they're trying to get everybody to get in on all these nodes. Buy. There's going to be a pump. This could cause a spike in flux for sure if people do this, but remember, with any other coin with nodes and stuff, there's going to be a node pump and then it's going to die. Not financial advice, but get ready to dump your frickin' flux. Just saying. So now we got the staking synergy, blah, blah. You can pause this right here and then read all this if you want. I don't really care. Coming through this, here's emissions and stuff. Go through that if you want. Pause it there. Here's fancy charts to make things look better than they really are. Here we go. Here's the big stuff here. Flux blockchain evolution. So here's where they get you. Here's where they get you to try to buy as much flux as you can. Not financial advice, but proposed solution, 30-second blocks benefits. App registration and termination speed, faster node rewards cycles, improve user and client experience. Here's the big one. 4x more earning opportunities. They're saying, hey, you're going to earn 4x more because of this. It's going to be awesome, guys. Get ready. Buy our coin so you can earn so much more because we're speeding up our block times and giving it to all our node guys. Buy our nodes. That's pretty much what they're trying to tell everyone here. Buy our coin because no one has been yet. So we need somebody to buy it, right? Who's going to be dumb enough to buy our coin? Let's try this new structure. Maybe it'll work. Not financial advice. I don't know everything you got to say to try and say blah, blah, blah. But, I'm just saying, I don't like this. This is, oh man, this is all, obviously this is nowhere near the size of Ethereum, but the fact that Flux has been promoting GPU mining since day one is what makes this the most frustrating, as they're pretty much destroying it. All right, I don't even know. Here's fancy charts to lie to you some more, so you can pause it and check those out. I don't really care about any of this. You can pause it and watch this and look at all this if you want. Oh, here's some stuff. By 2035, the projected network will provide over 400,000 vCPU cores for application deployment. Okay, they plan on having a whole bunch of cores of CPUs. More than 1.2 million gigabytes of RAM. All right. And approximately 32,000 terabytes of storage. 4x capacity index growth. It doesn't say anything about GPUs at all. So it looks like CPUs, obviously some RAM, and storage is what they're moving towards to. So is that all you need from the node? Like, I haven't been looking at this. What do you need to run the nodes? It's looking like GPU isn't really the issue here. And whatever happened, remember they're selling out those big freaking FLUX Octo servers and stuff. Did those obviously get discontinued? Not a thing anymore. Money grab. What happened with that? With the Octa miners and the FLUX partnership with proof of useful work, because they don't want GPUs anymore. So what's happening with that? Long term, only FLUX main chain node incomes will remain. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. Here's some stuff, more stuff you can kind of pause it and go forward with and stuff. So pretty much in a nutshell, though, what is this? Reward per block. Yeah, we've seen that earlier. What is this? RAM CPU. Yeah, I don't see nothing about a GPU needed for these RAM or for the node requirements. CPU. So CPUs are still needed. GPUs are done. All right, guys. So that's pretty much that. That's it. You know, that's in a nutshell. There's some more crap down there. I'll put the link to this down in the description there if you want to go through this for yourself. But overall, yeah, FLUX is pretty much ditching everything it's claimed to be and want to do from day one. They decided to just throw it all in the trash can and start over and kind of move to a proof of stake plan. Obviously, it's not full proof of stake because they're doing proof of useful work where their nodes are supposed to be doing stuff, and it's not going to be centralized because they said, trust me, bro. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. What you think about all this? I do think FLUX will kind of get a surge in price because, you know, coming in, people are going to buy in on the hype and we're going to see an increase. Sure, it's going to work, but be ready for that because that's probably going to cause the peak of this cycle for this, and just be ready to get rid of your coins when the right time comes. But not financial advice. Do whatever you want. Follow the charts. Let me know what you think is going on with FLUX down in the comments section. This really does hurt GPU mining a lot, especially coming from FLUX this way, but that's all we can do. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.